Hey.
There we go.
Yay, it's Dave. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Judy?
Good. Just trying to stay warm in a little bit of Siberia. So
Yeah, I'm happy we got this figured out finally. It took a
yeah,
long enough
right.
time. Sorry about all those times.
Oh no, that's all right. Don't worry about it. It's
Yeah,
just
it's kind of
just life and weather. So
yeah, it's terrible.
I know. Well, it's supposed to warm up. The next couple of days is actually gonna be in the 30s. So then we'll see people with
Oh,
shorts on. So I'm sure
yeah.
it'll be great. But whatever,
It's
it's
not winter
Pittsburgh.
in Pittsburgh until you see a Yinzer in shorts.
Yeah,
That's for
right.
sure.
For sure. Well, that is warm in comparison to -4. So
Oh yeah, I think it was when it was like 38 degrees or 40 degrees the last time this warmed up. I went outside, took my dogs for a walk. I was a thin sweatshirt. It felt like a heat wave.
right, right, yeah. Because we're so used to being frozen.
Yeah,
So let's talk about you have a new album coming out and it's releasing, I believe, February 21st. Is that correct?
that's correct. Yes.
Okay. And it is called Modern Day Ghost. And you also have just released a single, also entitled Modern Day Ghost. Can you tell us a little bit about your single and then we can talk about your album too?
Yeah, the single, it's the title track off the new record. That song actually, the whole album has just been a giant disaster from start to finish. It's finally done. It's finally done. We'll get into that at some point. But yeah, it's been a very long process for this. Usually
Yeah.
we release albums like every other year. This one took almost four, so there
Oh,
was a lot that
wow.
yeah, there was a lot. Our last release was an EP in 2021,
Okay.
and we
Yeah.
released singles. So yeah, it's been about 4 years since we released a proper studio album, which for us is just not. We don't wait that long, but it's a long story. But yeah, title track, we released it. Uh, Everyone seems to like it. I got some flack because I say modern day ghosts in it, and the song's called Modern Day Ghosts, and I thought that made sense, but apparently I'm grammatically incorrect according to some people.
Oh, because it should be Modern Day Ghost, you mean?
Yeah, someone actually quoted the Airheads quote from that movie, being like, "There's three of you. You're not exactly lone. Shouldn't you be the three Rangers?" And when I thought about it, I was like, "That
Oh,
makes sense." But the way I wrote the song was, everyone's a modern day ghost as an individual, so
right.
just as a
Right.
collective. So I
Okay.
thought that made sense, but evidently it might not make any
Well,
sense.
it makes sense to you and your band. I think that's pretty much,
That's pretty
I mean,
much yes. That's
I
kind of
mean,
where
it's
I
your
drew the line.
message. You kind of, I mean, you can't control how people interpret your music. So,
Very true. Very true.
right, right. So, Eric and I were just talking a little bit earlier before we came on this call, this Zoom call, and I was trying to remember the first time I saw your band. I thought it was at during COVID when everybody played outside in that pavilion.
Oh,
It started at like noon. It was like really, really long day of like bands, music, and lots of drinking. And
yes. I remember
but
that. I can't remember what they called it. It was Monongahela or something like that. It was in the middle of,
I don't
it
know
was
it.
Washington County. It was a lot of fun. I remember that. Yeah, that
Or,
was,
yeah, it was fun. It was, yeah,
what
it
was
was
that?
just a really long day, and I had way too much beer. But so yeah, at one point I thought I lost my keys. Everybody's looking around in the dark for my keys, and they were just like in a different pocket in my purse. And everybody's like really excited when I found them. So, yeah,
Well, at least you had
that's
fun.
what I remember. So
Yeah, you had fun. That's all that matters.
yeah, right. There are pictures. Um, but I think Eric said that we saw you before that, but I can't remember. So obviously I've seen too many bands in too many years. But let's see. So your album that's releasing, like what was your like inspiration for the title? Your inspiration for I guess you should tell me the background of like why it took so long too, because you guys say you release one like almost every other year.
Yeah. So when
Okay.
we
Tell me a
released the
little background.
discounted, yeah, we released Discounted Legacy, the EP, and um, I, right after that released, I remember the band kind of imploded. Our one bass player Justin and Trevor almost got into a fist fight, and the
Oh
band
no.
it was bad. I don't even know what happened. To be honest with you, I don't even really know what happened. But
Yeah.
it's all. I mean, it's all worked out. Everyone's friends. But that was when Justin left the band. Trevor quit temporarily, and John was like, "Well, I quit too." And I was like, "Awesome." So I already had half of a record written that was called Modern Day Ghost, and it was a whole different theme. It was a very thematic. It was going to be a very it was a concept album, but I'm happy it didn't work out because it was so depressing. Like when the band heard all the
Oh.
lyrics, they were like, "This is so depressing," and I was like, "I know." So I had all that time to rework it and rewrite, and I kept writing and writing and writing, and then eventually we got back together. Before our new bass player Sean joined, we finished this whole record. So it was essentially the album was written twice. So
Oh, okay.
some of the songs made the cut from the first run, some didn't. We were going to record them as B-sides. We ran out of time.
Right.
So yeah, this essentially was two albums morphed into one. Um, so it just took forever. It took forever because all the songs we had written before the band broke up, we didn't use them. So we had to go back to the drawing board and keep rewriting and redoing. It just took forever.
Well,
Um,
sometimes the creative process is not like the easiest or straightest path. So,
no, and it actually worked out for the better because I'm more happy with the product we released. We're going to be releasing than I think the initial one would have been.
well, that's good then. Yeah. So then that
Yeah,
worked out okay. It just took a little extra time.
a
So when you
couple
said
extra
that,
years.
yeah, right. Yeah, a couple extra years. So when you were saying you were writing and rewriting, are you like the principal songwriter for your band?
So what I'll do is I'll write the framework, I'll build the skeleton of a song, verse, chorus, this, that. I'll write all the lyrics, and I kind of have a template in my head of how it goes together, and then
Right.
I bring them to the band, and they can either give me the thumbs down or the thumbs up, whether they want to move forward with that song, and then they just add their flair to it. Like the song "Modern Day Ghost," the little bap 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 bap, the beginning of it, that wasn't me. That was Trevor's side to add that. Just like the guitar solo was all his. I didn't write any of that. So they kind of just all bring their own pieces to it. Like the drum parts, I have a beat in my head, but John kind of just takes over and does whatever it is that John does. He makes it his own, and
Mhm.
that's the best way to do it. That's the way we've been doing it. So everything new we've been writing since then, I've basically stepped back. I've let them write most of the music, and I'm just focusing on writing lyrics because this process we've been doing. This is our fourth full length record, our fifth release plus singles. I'm tired. I don't want.
Ah,
I'm tired of writing stuff. I wanted someone else to write something once in a
yeah, it's somebody
while.
else's turn to contribute.
Yes, like, not that they don't contribute. They're the greatest back. They're the greatest guys
I know
ever.
what you mean.
But yeah, I just want someone else to take the helm for a little bit and let them do their thing. See what it sounds
Yeah.
like when it comes out the other side.
So how many songs total are going to be in this album?
12. We re-recorded the song "1 Million Robots" from our first record. I don't know why. I think John was the one that wanted to do it. He's like, we should re-record this, and I said, okay. So that got re-recorded, but it's 11 new tracks.
So when you guys went to record, do you have your own home studio or did you go into a studio with somebody?
No, we go to
Big
the studio.
studio.
We go to Razor Blade Recordings. It's in West
Oh,
Mifflin.
Johnny, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Johnny
Yeah.
Razor does. He's done every single one of our records, all
Well,
the way.
he and I talked on Tuesday when I had a conflict. I was meeting with him about a project, not a musical project that I'm doing, something else. And when I said that I had to push you guys or push you to Thursday, he's like, "Oh, you should have told them it was because you were meeting me because I've known them forever and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I just didn't want to like. I mean, that's cool, but like I don't." And that he makes a point, but I didn't want to like tell you my like stupid life story. Like I'm gonna do this whole
No,
project and I have to go do this. I just was trying to be like, hey, I have a conflict.
no, that's totally. If anyone was going to do it, I'm happy it was Johnny. I consider him a very good friend at this point. So
Yeah, he's awesome. He's super awesome.
yes, he
Yeah,
really
and I like
is.
that's the first time I was in this. Eric and I went into his studio, and I was like fascinated with all his cool posters that were framed so beautifully, and all his like awesome Funko Pops. So
Oh yeah, he's. I'm pretty sure he does almost everyone. He records almost everyone in Pittsburgh. He's
I
just
think he
so.
does too.
Yeah, he's so because he's so good at it. Like I know he does the
He
Chiefs, he
is
does
good at
the
it.
Cobras. He's done everybody.
Well, I know
He's just
he's done everybody, and I know that like right now he's got the Hucklebucks coming in again. They're not done. He just recorded Stereo Scandal. Now he's got my little project, and
yeah,
yeah, so it's pretty exciting. But he's doing so not that it's important, but he's doing like something completely different from me. So I'm hopefully going to do. I'm probably telling the world this now because this video will be posted, but
I say
um,
you don't have to
not going to be
divulge
a
if it's
secret
too soon. I
anymore.
say you don't tell
But
anybody if it's too
it's
soon.
it's fine. It doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal. But I'm gonna do. I hope to do some voiceover work, and I worked with a voice coach, so I'm having him like edit up my reel. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's actually pretty cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's taken a lot longer than I thought it would, but I had a really fabulous voice coach, Tara McKay. So she's super, and she's been doing it for years, like as a job. So
Yeah.
yeah, like oh yeah, she's amazing. So, but anyhow, so yeah, that's been my journey. Even though I'm a DJ, to do something like a little different. So
Yeah. It's always good to switch things up a little bit. Something different never hurts. You know?
yeah, like when you're creative, like obviously, anyone in a band is creative, but like if you're creative, I'm also creative, but not in the same way because I don't play an instrument or well, I sing, but not like in front of people, like in my house. My husband gets to hear me sing all kinds of stuff, but like I think when you're a creative person and you're an adult, there aren't as many opportunities to be creative as there are when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because there's
agree.
like all these, there's like art club, there's like, badminton club, whatever. Like as soon as you're an adult, there's like nothing unless you go
Yeah.
pay and become part of something like extracurricular, intramural, volleyball, or whatever you're into. It's just, they don't tell you that when you're a kid. Like, and someday you'll be an adult and then all the fun will be sucked out of the room.
And then there won't be time to do these kind of fun
Right. And
projects.
then
You
you
won't
want
have
to do it,
time
but
for
you
that.
can't because you have to work.
You have to go to work, and by the time you get home, do you really want to do that? Then it
You're
turns
too
into, no,
tired to
I
do
don't.
that now.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. I'm all too familiar.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to focus on something you really want to do as an adult. So that's why I'm always like amazed by I'm always amazed by musical people, musicians, bands that after a certain age they're like, yeah, we're still doing it, we still love it, we want to do it. Whether they're like, if you're just a local band, not I don't mean just a local band, a local band, or you're national or whatever, you play everywhere. I mean, there's a lot of effort involved in that, and also you have to like really love it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the only reason we still do it is because all of us still really enjoy doing it. The
Yeah.
idea of becoming a national band at this point, whew, that sounds horrible. Just like sleeping in a van, traveling around. I mean, I'd miss my
If it
wife. I
was up
got
on a
things.
different level, though, what if it was like, you have a big tour bus and somebody else handles all your stuff,
I
all your
just, yeah,
musicians,
it's one of those things. Like, it sounds exciting. I would have to try it.
just to see,
I'd have to get
just to
there,
see.
go for like 2, 3 months and be like, do I want to do this? Or do
Do
I
I
just want to go
really
back
want
to,
to?
yeah,
Yeah.
do I just want to go back and just play the local scene and be like, okay, that's good
Well,
enough
I
for
mean,
me.
you're not that old. Didn't you say you just turned 40?
41.
41, whatever. That's like when I turned 40, I thought 30 was a big deal. And I was like, oh my God, I'm 30, which is like 21 to me now. And then when I turned 40, I was like, yeah, 30 was no big deal. So,
Yeah.
and then when I
No,
turned 50,
the only difference between 30 and 40 to me is I hurt myself doing things that you shouldn't hurt
yeah.
yourself doing. Like, I'll get up out of bed and I'll throw my back out. Silly things like that. You're like, what? How did that happen? That's the only thing
Well,
I've noticed about being 40. When I hit
yeah, well,
40, that was when I started noticing weird stuff like
I'd
that.
like to say that it gets better after 50, but nope.
Something to look forward to. I can't wait till 50.
Well, all I can say is if you're into yoga or you work out, like the key, I mean, mobility and flexibility are the key. So,
Yeah, pretty much. I work
I,
out every day. At least I
oh,
try
do you?
to.
Good for
I try
you.
to. Yeah, I try to just to maintain my girlish figure,
Yeah,
make sure I
right?
look
So you
pretty.
can get out of bed and not throw your back out.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm sure you look
Pretty much.
pretty. I like
Yeah.
that. So, what else did I want to know about? Oh, you said you guys have another single coming out soon, correct?
Yeah, not tomorrow, the following Friday, the 31st.
Okay, and what's that single called? Because I forgot to write it down.
That single's called Like Cash.
Okay. Oh, like Johnny Cash?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
cool. Very cool. Very cool. I'm not even going to ask you if you're influenced by Johnny Cash because clearly you are. Um, so let's talk a little about are you guys going to have a release party, some gigs coming up to support your album?
Yes, we're playing tomorrow, but that's not really, that's more of like an incidental gig.
Right.
I don't like to play during the winter. Weather,
Nobody blames you.
cold. Like tomorrow night when I get home to unload my gear, it's going to be like 10 degrees. That's horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bands, we never played with these bands before. So we're playing with a band called Finding Ethel. I've never met them in person. I'm
Yeah.
playing another band called Midnight Lights.
Okay.
They play more of like a pop punky kind of thing, and I don't know. I never get to play with newer, younger bands, so when the opportunity came, of course I'm going to take it. I like to
Yeah,
meet
that'll
some
be
new people.
fun.
But yeah, so we're playing tomorrow. The release show for our record is on April 5th at
Okay.
Remedy in Lawrenceville.
Never
It's only I
been
think like a
there.
75 person capacity. We just want it to be a really like tiny little show, pack the place in. And our label mates, curse words are coming up for that show as well.
Okay. And you're on allegedly, right?
Correct.
Okay. At least I
Yeah,
remember
so
that.
they're coming up for that show. We've been booking shows here and there. I honestly, without looking at my calendar, I couldn't tell you when they
Oh no,
are.
that's okay. I just wanted to know that I just was curious whether there was a release,
Oh
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought I
definitely
had
a
read
release
that there
show.
was a release show, but then like, I just had to adult earlier, so like unless I write it down, it's gone. So
Yeah, no, definitely a release show on April 5th at Remedy. There's a bunch of other
Remedy.
shows we're playing over the summer and different. I think we're trying to focus more on traveling this year. We play at Pittsburgh a lot.
Yeah.
So we're trying to we're not going far. We can't really afford to go far. So we're going to like I think we're going to Ohio, West Virginia, maybe like right at the tip of New York.
Oh,
So
that's
we're gonna do a little
okay.
outside. Yeah, a little outside of Pittsburgh stuff this year, but that's pretty much it.
That's probably a good idea, like expand your fan base and whatnot.
Yeah, people in Pittsburgh know who we are. They know it's almost
They
10
love
years at this
you. They
point.
know who you are. They're gonna come see you anyhow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of I was like, they know us. They know us at this point.
Well, at least people come out and see you. I mean,
For the most part. I mean, we sometimes no, but that's okay. Sometimes like you'll look at the calendar and go, oh, there's a Penguin game.
Yeah,
There's like this guy's doing the Benetton. There's this going
right.
on down at
Nobody's
Stage
gonna come to
AE.
my show unless they come late. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah,
yeah.
that's happened a lot where you book a show in advance. That's why I don't like to book them more than 2 months out.
Oh,
Mostly
okay.
because you never know, 2, 3 months the most. Because after that, you'll say, "Oh, there's this concert going on Stage AE, and there's one at like PNC Park," and you're like, "Oh, I guess we're not going to get anyone at this show now, are we?"
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's at any given moment, depending on what's going on in Pittsburgh, because I mean, I think the scene is a nice scene, but it's not a super huge scene. So you see the same faces it shows.
Yeah.
And if like everybody loves that national band that's at Stage AE or wherever at PPG Paints Arena, that all your friends are going to be there.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely. I mean, no offense to my friends' bands, I'd be like, I got to go see this because it only comes
yeah,
around
I might
every
see you
once in a while.
later.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys when you play next month.
Yeah,
I
right.
guess if
You
that's
play
okay.
closer to my house, so I don't have to be
Yeah,
as far.
that too. That also
Yeah,
helps.
right, right. So I mean, clearly you're influenced by punk rock, obviously, but like, if you had to name like some favorite bands of yours or bands that you loved when you were younger and you still love today, like who would they be?
Bad Religion is probably my favorite band I think ever.
Oh,
Like
cool.
hands down, my favorite band ever. People can hear it in the they I get to the number one thing like, oh, you must like Bad Religion. I'm like, can you tell? Like the 3-part, 4-part harmonies we throw in songs, people are like, oh, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like that was my favorite band, even to this very day. I've seen them at least like 30 times, like my
No
favorite band ever.
way.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But yes,
Well, I'm a huge,
everything from that '90s circuit, like Pennywise, Bad
yeah,
Religion, like early Green Day, like all that stuff. We grew up on all of that.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny. I really love like the Who. I love their old stuff so much, but it's like sometimes when you're talking to kids now and you're like, oh, I love this band or I love this song. And they're like, I don't know who that band is. Or, Eric's friend, oh my gosh, like a couple years ago was like, I'm going to send you this clip from the song. I don't know who this band is. And it was Baba O'Reilly. And he's like, I think it's called Teenage Wasteland. And I'm in the background going, it's
Bob
Baba
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly.
They say Teenage Wasteland in the song, but that's not the name of the song.
And then,
That's funny.
Eric's always like, well, Judy, not everybody has the same musical background or musical knowledge that you do. And I'm like, oh, they should.
Yeah, they should. Oh, my nephew was adorable this year. He was like, "Have you ever heard of this band called Green Day?" I was like, "Yes, I most certainly have." He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "They're really good. I want to go see them." So me and my
Oh, yeah.
wife actually took him and his girlfriend to go see them when they were at
Oh,
PNC
no
Park this
way.
year.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I was,
he was all excited.
I bet. Yeah, absolutely. I was in Vegas for Christmas and I didn't know there was a punk rock museum there.
Oh
So
yeah.
as I'm going through Facebook while I'm in Vegas, they're like, the punk rock museum ad comes through and I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, Eric wasn't with me. And I was like, he's a huge, like way more into punk than I am. And I'm like, I'm going to go. And then one of my cousins lives there and he's 62 or three. I don't really think he likes, I don't know. If he likes punk rock. I didn't think so. But I was like, hey, I'm like, I don't know if you want to go with me or not. I'm like, but I really want to go to the Punk Rock Museum while I'm here in Vegas. Do you want to go? And he's like, yeah, I want to go. And I was like, no way. So I took him to the Punk Rock Museum.
Sounds like fun. If I ever
It
get back to
was
Vegas, I'll go.
fun.
Yeah, when I get back to Vegas at one point in my life, if I ever get back over there, I definitely want to go.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool. The people that were there were super, super friendly, super nice. It's 2 floors. It's not super huge, but I mean, there's a lot of detail. You can spend some time there if you want to. They have their own bar. They
Oh,
have
nice.
their own tattoo parlor. Um,
What?
yeah, they're everywhere. They have all kinds of stuff going on, and they have all these really cool exhibits. Some things are, donated outfits, musical instruments, broken outfits, ripped outfits, tons and tons and tons of flyers because, back in the day, that's how everybody found out about bands.
Oh yeah, I remember
So
those days.
Facebook, you're right. It was kind of more fun in a
Yeah,
way.
when Laga was still open and I was playing in bands when I was like 16 years old, we were playing at Laga. Oh, it was so much more fun back then.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was like there was like a more of like a rawness to it, less polished. I don't know. It was just like super fun, like very grassroots. So
Yeah, and I feel like I heard of more bands back then. I feel like because over the weekend came and there was nothing going on, you just be like, "Where's the show?" It didn't matter
right.
who was playing. You didn't know who the bands were, but you went because you were part of that scene, and there was a band
Yes.
coming through, and like
Yes.
that's how you discovered new bands. It wasn't like, "Oh, I can check them out on Spotify." Listen
No,
to two,
no, right.
yeah,
Oh,
listen
in
to
fact,
30 seconds of one song and be like, "Nah, I don't like them. I don't want to go see them." That's like that's. I feel like that's just It's that some essence got lost with all of that, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I think so. I think you're right. Um, also, okay, so my next question is when your album releases, I should ask you this before. Are you going to have all the streaming services and hard copy, CDs, vinyl? How are you all going to release your media?
We're gonna have we have CDs. We already have them pressed. Someone was complaining about pre-orders, and I was like, dude, just when it comes out, I'll ship it. I'll ship it when it comes out. It'll
People
be on.
love pre-orders.
Yeah, it'll be on every. Yeah, that people love pre-orders. I'm like, it's a CD. It's a CD, bud. So yeah, the CD the day it comes out, which is the 21st of February. CDs will be live on Bandcamp or on our website for our label. You can
Yeah.
buy them anywhere. You can see us at a show. You'll get it cheaper. We
Okay.
were gonna press vinyl, but when we looked into since we're on a small label, we basically pay for everything out of pocket and then we
That's
recoup.
expensive.
Yeah, so when it was like 1,600 $1,600 for 100 vinyl records, I said, nah.
Oh,
Yeah, so we could have splurged for it, but then like if you don't sell all of them, or say it was one of those things that sell 50, I'm stuck with 50. I'm stuck in the hole for $700 I spent for nothing.
okay.
So I
Gotcha.
mean, if this album performs really well and people really are clamoring for it, I'll get vinyl pressed.
Yeah,
But
right.
I'll see how the album's received before I go and hawk for 100 vinyl
You
records.
know, and I actually understand that because we had some tchotchke for our show, for the Electric Crush. And a couple of years ago, we were like going to this rock and pod thing in Nashville the first time we went. We were like, we're going to get some shirts made, right? Not even that many. And we had the design, someone else, one of Eric's friends, did the design for us. And we bought the shirts, and it was so expensive.
Yeah. Yep.
We were
Yeah.
just giving them away. We weren't like, selling them to people. I was like, oh
Oh
my
yeah.
God. And now people are like, hey, I need a new shirt. Mine's worn out. I'm like, yeah, I don't really know if we'll ever do that again. We do
Yeah,
have we have
that's the
buttons
name of
and
the
we have like
game.
koozies, but I don't know about maybe. So
Yeah, no, we need new. I need new T-shirt designs, but then every time I look at it, it's going to cost like several $100s. I'm just like,
I know.
I'm sitting on. I still have shirts from the first round of shirts we ever printed. That's a band. I still got some of those left. So like
You
they
have a
just,
bunch of sizes, you just sell them.
I try. Oh, I try. I
Oh, okay.
try. I take them all to the shows, but like I think once again, that's what we got not play as locally as much because everyone that knows us,
Has a
they all have
shirt.
our shirts.
Oh,
They
okay,
all have
gotcha.
our shirts. They
Gotcha.
already have them.
Yeah, so my big thing with us for our shows, we usually just like pins and koozies because it's super easy to just give them to people. And
That's yeah.
then
Everything
people
I
are
have.
like, I need a size 5XL. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have that. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm like the highest I go is 3, and then I don't have any more left. So 'cause pins and stickers, we give those all away for free because
Right, right,
they're
right.
relatively inexpensive. I
But
just give them
people
away.
do like if they love your band and love you guys, like people are into having like all this stuff.
Oh yeah, and there's I think I can't remember the guy's name. He was like every one of our T-shirts, every one of our CDs. He has everything, and I was like, that's pretty impressive. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm like
Good
that.
for
Like
you.
I like when I'm really into something, I'm really devoted, and especially bands and music, and of course Outlander, which is something else, my other obsession. But no, it's true, it totally is. And I'm a big reader, so it's all about those books. But like every time I go to see like band or someone, it's I mean local too, but especially national. Like if it's someone I really love, and like there's a possibility that I can meet and greet them and get a couple pictures, have them sign something like that, like makes my freaking mind. Like I
Hey,
love that so much. I just do. I love to meet the bands locally too, local, national, whatever. I want to meet the bands. I'd like to talk to them after the show if they have time, whatever. And like find out about their music and whatever. Like that's the whole like thing for me, not just going to the show. Like I like the whole thing.
hey, that's fair. You're
Yeah.
fair. I like it.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe that's why, I like to interview people and I do the DJ thing because I'm like naturally curious and always like ask way too many questions. And people that aren't super extroverted, like a few of our friends, and like I corner them and talk to them. I can tell on their you can see the fear on their face after 10 minutes that they like want to escape because I'm talking too
Yeah,
much.
they're like, is this over yet? Are we done yet?
They're like, I really like her, but I wish she'd shut up. So whatever. But yeah, it's just funny. It's funny. Well, because
Yeah, you could talk. You could ask me anything. I'd pretty much give you a straight answer no matter what you ask me.
yeah,
It
well,
could be
you're
the
pretty
most.
you're pretty extroverted, but a lot of my friends are not. So it's like, they're like, oh God, you can ask me a bunch of questions. I'm like, well, not if you don't want me to.
You're like, I'll just sit here and stare at you if it makes you more uncomfortable.
I know, I know. I do that though. I adopt people that are like introverted. I'm like, oh yeah, you can be my friend. I'll just talk to you till you like I force you to like me. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, but anyhow, so like that's like one thing I super like about like local music or even national music. Like hearing a new piece of music, like loving it so much, and it's like catchy, and you're singing it, and you're walking around. Then you meet the people behind it, and it's like, oh, it's like, and I love the show. Like I love bands who have like a theme, or they dress up, or they do their thing, or whatever, you know. And I like punk rock bands because they are who they are, you know.
Yeah.
They're unapologetic about who they are. They're just like, this is how we are. If you don't like it, I don't give a shit. So, you know, it's just it's that's like the thing I love so much about punk rock is like they just do whatever you guys do whatever you feel, and you know, like it or lump it. And I think most people just like it.
I hope
Don't
so.
you think? Yeah, I mean, clearly, or nobody come see you, but you know.
Yeah, I hope so. No, I honestly, you hit the nail on the head. I don't care at all. Like if someone came and saw our band, was like, you
Yeah,
offended me on stage, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. Too bad.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, but like, I mean, that's kind of like even anyone being a musician or being a band, like it's wanting to be yourself, wanting to be an individual, not necessarily. I don't think a lot of people in bands are people that fit in all the time. When
Yeah.
they were younger, like people that fit in at school or were like super popular, I wouldn't say that those people are in punk bands. So,
Well, that's just I was the homecoming king, so
are you serious?
yes, I was.
No way.
I was friends with everybody.
Well, okay, so you just proved my theory, but that's okay. That's all right. I still like you. It's okay.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, right. Is there anything else you want to tell our listening audience about your band, or you know, like besides go to your shows and buy your stuff? Do you have a
No,
message?
just I hope everyone liked the single Modern Day Ghost so far. The new one comes out on the 31st. We play tomorrow night at the Lawrenceville Distilling Company. If anyone wants to come out for that, you should. It'll be a lot of fun. I believe
Yeah.
that place is closing. I think this weekend's the last weekend for shows there ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think tonight and tomorrow and Saturday, the last two
Yeah,
days.
well,
So they're
that's a bummer
closing
for the
up.
people that own that place.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so if you want to come out, support, and see that place for, I don't know if I've never been there, so I'm sure it's going
I
to be a lot
haven't
of fun.
either.
And then the album as a whole comes out in
February.
February 21st.
See, it's been a long winter.
Yeah, this has been the worst winter I can remember in years. It's been
Yeah,
cold.
it's been really crappy.
Yeah, there's snow constantly. I've never seen so much snow. It's time for it to end. Let's move on with our lives.
I agree wholeheartedly. I'm like, do I have to go outside? Because I work from home. I'm like, no, okay, I'm not going out. I don't care. I won't
Yeah,
even.
my
I
we
went
have
to the
a
post office today. Post office. Ugh, went out to our mailbox today for like 2 seconds, and I was like, this is freaking cold.
I have
I'm
a
like, I love summer and spring. So.
Yeah, well, I do too. And I have to go outside. We have a 1-year-old pup, and she always wants to go outside and play, walk.
Oh,
So it doesn't
right.
matter if
That's
it's 20, doesn't matter if it's 23 degrees. I'm outside. It's
yeah.
never ends.
And you have animals. That is true. That is true.
Never ends.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for your time, Dave Wince. It
No,
was so
thank
good to
you.
talk to you.
That was good to see you.
Good to
Good to
see
see
you
you. Good talking to
too.
you.
And I hope to come out and see some shows and hang out with you guys. And yeah, I wish you all the success with your new album, and I hope that it does great things.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me. I appreciate your time.
Oh,
And happy we
absolutely.
got this.
Anytime.
Happy we got this all figured out finally. It took long enough.
Finally,
We
yes.
gotta figure it out.
Hey, have a good night, and we'll see you
Oh,
soon.
you too. Okay, thank
Bye.
you. All right,
You're
bye.
welcome. Bye.